All right, shalom aleichem, rabotai, bruchim habayim. Welcome to our test on Birkot השחר, ברכות התורה, פסוקי דזימרה, קריאת שמע, also known as the third volume of the series over here, Yalkt Yosef. Baruch Hashem, we have finished that volume, and we actually, we finished the third one, and we started now. We're gonna start the fourth volume soon, the volume of, one second? Yeah, go ahead. The volume of Tfilat Amidah, but beforehand, as usual, we have a test, not a scary test, a friendly test that provides the answers as well. The goal of the test is so that this is a review, and you also have this, so whenever you want to say, I once learned these halachot, which, by the way, I did a calculation in my mind. I said to myself, how many people in the Jewish world know these halachot? Because you think, oh, Jews, everybody should know this, right? But the reality is that out of the Jewish world, which is maybe 15 million people, 30% are, in the business. 70%, pretty much sadly, are secular. And out of that 30%, I don't believe that there are more than 10% that learn these halachot. I know because I know the people. People that learn these halachot is few. So really, 3% of the Jewish population probably is aware of what we are doing right now. And the people that are in this group are part of that group. So we should be very excited to learn halachot. And I'm excited myself because for many years, I shared this with you once. It was a struggle for me, the halachot. And thank God, through the right teachers, Hashem gave me a gift of seeing the beauty in it. I hope you see it as well. If not now, I guarantee you it will come. But I'm hoping you see it now as well. So with your permission, we'll begin. I see a few more have joined us. Bruchim habayim, everybody. We have 3 questions on each topic. 3 on Birkot השחר, ברכות התורה, 3 on Pesukei Dezimrah, and 3 on Keriyat Shema. I wish I had a bingo machine where I could pull out a number, but it's not going to work like that. So I'm just going to ask and see who's comfortable with answering the first question. We have to read 100 brachot a day. Explain where Birkot השחר came from. Any volunteer? If there's no volunteer, I volunteer you. That's how it works. All right, Steve, you have the zechut. You were here first. Chavod.
I guess Moshe got the Birkot. Yes, we have to say 100 Birkot a day, and Moshe got a Bar Sinai from Hashem, no?
Right.
But
Moshe,
I know the reference. I don't remember the Pesuk.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't remember the pasuk. Exactly. Moshe Rabbeinu in Har Sinai, he got commanded that we have to say 100 Birkot every day. It's right until today. But what happened? Were there written brachot back then? What brachot were there?
I don't think there were not Birkot HaShachar. No, I don't think it would be written.
There were no brachot. Everybody had his own brachot, but he had to achieve 100 brachot a day. What happened was, eventually, people were a little... Right. Anshe Knesset Gdola fixed it when there was a plague. A lot of people died in the time of David HaMelech, and they understood that it's because that they didn't have 100 brachot. So David HaMelech kind of reassured this issue of having 100 brachot a day, but still, it wasn't written down. About 2,400 years ago, at the time of Anshe Knesset Gdola, they decided, why put people in a struggle? Let's write something down so that they know where they could get their 100 brachot from. And they established all the brachot, as well as the brachot that we are reading or learning about right now, Birkot השחר and Birkot Torah. Chazak u'baruch. All right. 12 points, 12 points, as they say in the Eurovision. All right, when do we say Birkot השחר? Recommend a good way to say the berachot. Yona, how are you feeling about this question? All right.
I remember the second part of the question.
Feeling good.
You're feeling good? All right, let's give Yona the chance. B'chavod.
Okay, so I think that Moshe installed this thing of saying the berachot in the morning.
So you're taking us a little bit backwards to the first. I'm talking about, I moved to the second question. The second question was, when do we say Birkot השחר? Meaning...
In the morning.
Right.
We say it when we wake up. In
the morning, but there's a machloket regarding at what point to say it. Do we say it regardless of the action that we do, or only if, let's say, there's a bracha, Ozer Israel b'gvura, which means, thank you, Hashem, for giving me a belt, for giving me a pants, a belt that separate my upper part from the lower part. Zokef kefufim, pokeach ivrim, opening my eyes. Do I say every bracha only when I open my eyes, then I say pokeach ivrim, which means opening, thank you, Hashem, for opening my eyes? Or the brachot are said regardless of the actions, even if I do them, even if I don't do it?
You have to say them even if you're doing it.
Right. I mean, regardless. So let's organize this. The Rambam holds that we should say the brachot only when doing it.
Yes,
The only time
correct.
we would say the bracha of Birkot השחר would be, let's say, okay, is if someone opened his eyes. And if someone put on a belt, he would say, Ozer Zel B'Gvura. But if he did not, according to the Rambam, he wouldn't say those berachot, and the Shulchan Aruch holds like that. However, even though, and this is a surprise, but we'll see it in our learnings, Bezrat Hashem.
Yeah, regardless, we say it anyway.
Exactly. We follow the opinion of the Kolbo, as well as a lot of later rabbis that say, it's minhago shel olam. Even if he's not doing it right now, but the custom of the world is to do these things every morning. If someone is in prison and he can't say matir asurim, thank you for opening my handcuffs or whatever that is a metaphor for, still maybe he feels like he can't say it, but he says it because the way of the world is enjoying it, and that's the conclusion. So halacha is not like the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch in this case, but rather like the opinion that we say it even if we don't do the action. Simon, since you wanted to answer, can you give a good recommendation of how to say the berachot? My son is saying a bracha on an apple, and I see he says, you're swallowing all the words. How can I teach my son to say the bracha so that it's right? What do you think?
The correct way is to split it into 3 parts.
Yes, for example.
I have to pull up the sheet for that. Hold on.
No, any bracha. Say borei priyat for me in 3 parts.
So you say Baruch Atah Hashem, first part, Elokeinu melech haolam, and then borei priyat.
Fantastic. I know this sounds childish to you, but since I heard this from one rabbi and I applied it, my brachot changed completely. Just if you have that in mind, that it's separated into 3 parts, the brachot, or you don't swallow words, you say the bracha properly.
What about a nice long one like Asher Yatzar?
Okay, so Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, and then again, Baruch Atah Hashem. The idea is to teach the child to stop after Baruch Atah Hashem. He has to understand that there's a rhythm, there's a pace. You can't just swallow, and it happens, not just children, grown-ups as well. When we're in a rush, Baruch Hashem, hopefully we all say the berachot. When we say the berachot, we swallow them. Someone comes out of the bathroom, he doesn't stand and say, Asher Yatzar et Adam slowly. You should. In the Kenisa, they put a sign outside of the bathroom. That's the best thing to do, to stop, read it with your own eyes. But if you can't, I also carry one in my wallet, even though some of us know it by heart, but reading it word for word takes 20 seconds, but it has so many segulot, so many promises that he was careful with saying this specific bracha. But generally, separate them into a few parts so that you read them well. Okay. Are Birkot Torah a requirement from the Torah or not? Let's see. And when do we say them if we are up all night? The classic example will be Shavuot. So, Tomer, Chavod. First of all, Birkot Torah, are we obligated to say them from the Torah or from Chachamim?
From, I want to say, the Torah.
Oh, right. So you're right, according to the Rambam. You're follow the Maimonides, the Shita of the Rambam, and he says that. He says Birkot. Okay. By the way, the fact that you guys aren't saying all the answers right away shows me that you don't have this sheet right in front of you, which makes me feel very proud. You're answering after going over it without cheating, because I'm cheating. I have it here before me. So kol hakavod. I was sure you're reading. I'm like, why aren't they just reading the answer? So kol hakavod. Thanks, guys. Anyway, according to the Rambam, right, Maimonides, it's an obligation from the Torah, and he learns it from a pasuk in Parashat Ha'azino. In Parashat Ha'azino, Steve, you were asking me before, Ki Shem Hashem ekra havu godel Elokenu. The translation is, when I call out Hashem's name, I should give him greatness. From here, he was Doresh, he gave a drasha that it's referring to Birkot Torah, that right before we go up to read the Torah, Ki Shem Hashem ekra, before I'm about to read Shem Hashem, havu godel, I should give Hashem greatness, meaning I should say a beracha. So remember this quote, it's an important quote. Ki Shem Hashem ekra, havu godel Elokenu. That's the quote. But the Ramban with a nun does not agree with Rambam, and he holds that actually it's not from the Torah, but rather it is from Chachamim. So we have a controversy. The only bracha that we do not have a controversy, that everybody 100% agrees that it's from the Torah. Anybody know what that bracha is?
Birkat Hamazon.
Birkat Hamazon. Chazak u'baruch yigal. Exactly. That's the only bracha. But this bracha, it's on the borderline. We're not sure, yes, no, no. So since there is a chance that it is from the Torah, the recommendation would be to be careful. Now, Tomer, I was up all night. Yeah, so you have a question, Ilan?
Yeah, just is it halacha from the Torah that you cannot learn Torah until you do Birkat Torah?
Oh, no. First of all, that's not halacha from the Torah. That's halacha that we learned and we discussed that there's so many questions on that. It's not a simple answer, especially when a speaker comes to a crowd that some are religious and some are irreligious. And there are people in the crowd that definitely didn't say Birkot Torah today. Now he's telling them Divrei Torah. So what are we doing now? How can he teach them Torah? So there's a whole question. There's a big machloket around it. Without getting into everything that we got into, you could look up if you want in the recordings in the past. There are a few answers to how is it possible. Some say they treat it as actualia. Those that are irreligious, they don't look at it as Torah. They treat it as news, as something interesting. So maybe for them, they're allowed to hear it without Birkot Torah. There are different opinions to how to explain it. But definitely the obligation of not going to the Torah without the bracha itself was written by Chachamim. The Rambam just holds that the obligation that we have to say Birkot Torah is from the Torah, but the Rambam doesn't hold. Ramban with an N doesn't hold like that. So it's a big machloket. You're asking on a great territory. All right. The second part of the third question was, what happens if I'm up all night? Tomer, I was about to give you a chance to say the second part of the answer. So if I'm up,
if I remember correctly, you can say it in the morning, but you should do it preferably 72 to 90 minutes before sunrise.
Very good, very good. That's what is called alot hashachar. Alot hashachar, some say it's 72 minutes before sunrise, some say it's 90. So any time before that. According to Yalkt Yosef, at the end it's 72 minutes, but some opinions hold 90. So that's the right time to say Birkot Shachar. So if you see on Shavuot night, we start Shacharit, I don't know, maybe 6 o'clock or 5. No, it's early actually, Shavuot. Hoshana Rabbah is when we start late. Shavuot, we start 4:30. Let's say from, I don't remember the time, 4 o'clock or so, it's already Alot HaShachar. That's 72 minutes before sunrise. Then we're allowed to read from then Birkot Torah. If you remember when we learned it, we said, why is it important? Because a new day has begun. Since a new day has begun now, we have to say Birkot Torah, and we cannot learn Torah until we say Birkot Torah. But the question is, what is that moment that the new day begins so that I have to say Birkot Torah? Because Shavuot is a time where we're learning all night. So if I can't be learning right now, I should have stopped to say Birkot Torah. When is that time? That's why this machloket between 72 minutes to 90 minutes is an interesting machloket. According to Chacham ben Sion, this is just to refresh our memory, Chacham ben Sion Abba Shaul, he has a machloket against Rav Ovadia with this. Chacham ben Sion holds that it's 90 minutes before. So according to him, you would have to say it 90 minutes before. According to Rav Ovadia, 72 minutes before. So what happens in that 18 minutes? Now we don't know who the halacha like. What do we do in those 18 minutes? Maybe if I say it 90 minutes, I was too early because halacha is like Rav Ovadia. But on the other hand, if I don't say it, maybe I'm not allowed to learn Torah. Says Rav Ovadia, don't worry. Learn Torah and say it in 72 minutes and you're covered. Because since you started learning Torah beheter, because it was permitted for you, even though you went into a territory that is gray, even though according to Rav Ovadia it's not gray, but since there are opinions that it's gray, those 18 minutes, you started beheter, you started minaz mutar, continue. So conclusion, the best would be to say it 72 minutes, at least according to Rav Ovadia Yosef, and you cover all opinions according to him.
I'm sorry. That's also the earliest you can put tefillin on, tzitzit. Alot HaShachar, what is it? Is that the same time?
Tzitzit and tefillin.
2 minutes before sunrise.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a little different. It was 60 minutes before sunrise. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I have to look that up. See, you have to stick to what we're learning now. You're taking me back to tefillin and tefillin. You're testing me now, the bushon. Yeah. But I think I remember that. But we'll check Blinador for next time. So, Igal, you wanted to add something?
What's the halacha? I remember you saying that if we do go to sleep, though, when we wake up, regarding, let's say Hashachar, someone wakes up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Do they have to say Birkat Torah before saying Hashachar?
No, Birkat Torah is for learning Torah. Bracha is not learning Torah.
Bracha is not considered learning Torah.
Right. But we did say that if you go to sleep, even for half an hour on your bed, and now it's not Alot HaShachar yet, it's not 72 minutes yet. Once you were asleep at nighttime and you wake up and you want to learn Torah, you have to say Birkot Torah. The only question arises is when you're up all night, when is the passing point? According to the Ashkenazim, it's a big issue. Some don't even say Birkot Torah. But the Sfaradim, we say Birkot Torah and Alot HaShachar 72 minutes before. All right, part B. What part of the tefillah is called Pesukei Dezimrah? And if I'm late, what can I say after Shacharit so that I join the minyan now? Meaning, what can I skip? And is there a minus in that? Who hasn't spoken yet? Giacomo, Baruch haba.
Hello, how are you? Sorry, I'm late.
Baruch Hashem. No, Baruch Hashem. You know, in the army, we would say, I wasn't late. I was, someone kept me. Like, there's an expression in Hebrew, like, you're never late. Someone kept me. Anyway, are you comfortable with this question? Question number 4.
Sure, why not? Why not?
So we
start from Baruch Shamar.
Very good.
Until Ishtabach.
Exactly.
And if you are late and you want to just get to the point fast, you can just say Baruch Shamar, Ashrei, and then Ishtabach. Sometimes you can say the Hallelujah also if you have a few minutes, you know, but it's unfortunately once you're behind, and it becomes a problem.
You wouldn't know, but some know. Okay, yeah. So very good. Exactly, that's the case. Now I asked another question. Let's see, do you remember what would be the minus if I want to make it to Amidah, and after Amidah I'm going to complete all the Hallelujot that I missed? Is there a minus in that?
Yeah, because you're not. Everything goes mechanically. You're going on a crescendo. You're starting and going up and up. So by missing those parts, it's like you're skipping. You're going from A to from number 1 to number 10, and it's you're
building the penthouse before you're building the ground floor. You got to take it step by step. But still, if you did it, do it. Just know it's not ideal. The ideal would be to get.
It happens to me, and I go back and I read everything that I miss for sure. Just to complete it.
You should do that. You should do that. Yes. But obviously, it would be better to say it according to the order. Right. Next question. Very good. That was perfect.
Thank you.
In what part is it a custom to stand? This is an easy one. In what part is the custom to stand, and what happens if someone is old and sick? So we have a few parts in the tefillah that the custom is to stand. I'm not talking about Amidah. I'm talking about during Pesukei Dezimrah. That's the topic now. Mickey, are you here? You haven't spoken.
Yeah, sorry, I'm driving.
Mechila. So what are the parts?
No worries.
This you know. Even driving, you know.
Vayvarech David.
Vayvarech David, very good. That's one.
Well, Baruch Shamar first.
Baruch Shamar. And one before Baruch Shamar.
And Hashem Melech.
Hashem Melech. Chazak u'Baruch. If someone is old or sick, is he still obligated to stand or no?
I guess not.
Not because I kind of tricked us. I said, is he obligated? He was never obligated. It's a custom. It's a custom to stand. Yes. If someone has the difficulty, then he doesn't stand. Mickey, they once asked the Gaon Mivilna. The Gaon Mivilna had a brother. He was also genius in Torah. So they asked him, how come everybody knows your brother, the Gaon Mivilna, and not you? What's the difference between you? And he said, because I know all the Torah by heart, but my brother, he knows it backwards by heart. I'm saying this because you said the 3 steps that we need to stand backwards. You went to Vayvarech David, Baruch Shamar, Hashem, you're like the Gaon Mivilna. Amazing.
Thank you.
All right, next question. If 2 people want to be Chazan, now you have 2 people that have a yard side, each one wants to say Kaddish. Oh, guys, don't fight. We have 20 people. Let's make 2 minyanim. Do we make the 2 minyanim? And if not, or if so, can you give us a source? Source would be a pasuk in Hebrew. Let's try. Igal, b'chavod.
So we would say not to split into 2 minyanim because we say how we want to glorify Hashem. The more people that are together in the minyan to praise Hashem, the better. And the pasuk is Berov Am Hadrat Melech.
Wow, fantastic. Guys, remember this pasuk. I want to tell you something. This wasn't like random where I looked at the material that we learned and I chose. I went through it carefully and tried to bring stuff that each of us should try to remember, meaning these sheets, whenever you want to go over the halachot of Birkot HaShachar, Pesukei Dezimrah, I think that these are the fundamentals. When you know these, you know, as I said, more than 97% of the Jewish world, you should know these. Berov Am Admat Melech, when there is a majority, it's a pasuk. It means when there's a lot of people, the king is glorified. So it's better, even though you want to say Kaddish, in Shemaim, the fact that you're not Chazan, Hashem is very proud of you that you prayed in a bigger minyan more than, and if you were mevatel to your friend, you said, no, you be chazan, I'll sit back. Oh, believe me, in Shemaim, we don't know the calculations, but this is the halakha. Well, it seems
Maybe
like
if one
that's...
of them, you said that if one of them was Ashkenaz, for them it's like more halakha to read on the yurtzeit, but Sfaradim it's more of a minhag.
Right. Meaning Ashkenazim, I was once in a minyan where the guy was like, oh, you also have, I had a yurtzeit, he had a yurtzeit. He's like, you also have the yurtzeit this week? It was during the week. I think during the day itself, all the customs have, all the, Sfaradi, Ashkenazi, we all say Kaddish on that day. We like to be Chazan. But during the week or during the year, Sfaradim don't call it a chiyuv. If you want, I'll be Chazan or someone to be Chazan. But if not, it's okay. But the Ashkenazim, mamash, it's important for them. It's like, it's part of their tradition. So if it could be mevatel to them, it's a good thing. In Shemaim, that's not our obligation. Yeah.
We might have spoke about this in the class, but just wanted to add a question about that. Is it like, in our minyans or a lot of shuls, there's several minyans going on at the same time.
Right.
So is it better for everyone to be together, or is it okay to have these breakaway minyans sometimes?
No, what happens is that the minyanim start at different times. For that, we don't have a complaint. The complaint is you're starting together exactly in the same time, and you're having a breakaway. When do we have a breakaway? When they want to stop for one Beit Knesset to start saying derashot and teilim, they're going to start Arvit in half hour. These guys have to go home right now. They make a breakaway minyan. They're starting now. That wouldn't be a problem as long as it's done in a respectful way without leaving while the speaker is speaking. You have to find a way to do it with tact. But if it's done properly, that's not a problem because the minyanim are not starting at the same time.
So if there was a minyan that starts at the same time, it shouldn't happen?
Yeah, if let's say you have a group like we have in the big shul in 54, and now some guy's like, no, I want to be chazan, let's go over there. That would be a problem. What's the reason why you're splitting? They're also starting right now. Only when there is stalling and they're not starting.
No, but there's like, let's say Rabbi Ben Chaim minyan, and then there's Rabbi Kohanim minyan, and they might start at the same time. Is that a problem?
They never start at the same time.
He's referring to on Shabbat. I think he's referring to on Shabbat.
On Shabbat. No, but that's also a different Beit Knesset. You understand what I'm saying? The problem is you were in the same shul. You're the same minyan. That's it. We have 3-4 Batei Knesset inside 54. If you're in the same shul, if you're in 54, if you're in Rabbi Ben Chaim, or if you're in Rabbi Moti, and now you're making a breakaway minyan in the same time, that's where the problem is.
Understood.
All right. Now, so this is a famous machloket, the next question regarding Keriyat Shema about Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai. What is their machloket? How did they understand Keriyat Shema? What is their source? And what is the halacha? Simon, are you comfortable? Nah, chetzi? Okay. Who else? Steve, I think we're back to you. Unless, Ilan, did you answer a question or you asked questions? I don't know if you answered.
No, I've just been asking questions.
Okay, so yeah, now answer. Tell me a little bit about Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel and their source to Keriyat Shema, morning and night.
I learned this in Bרכot recently also, but Bet Shammai is more of a literal it takes it literally. That Shochbacha means when you're actually lying down. It's like in what position you're in. And Kumecha is when you're standing up.
Right.
And
so he would hold that at night, laying down means physically laying down. In the morning, you have to physically stand up. Bet Hillel.
Yeah. And Beit Hillel says, no, it's just talking about the timing. That we usually go to sleep at night.
Very good.
Or we usually get up in the morning. So that is talking about what time of day we should be saying it, not what position.
And halacha is like
Beit Hillel.
Bet Hillel. Very good. Chazak u'baruch. Just one thing I want you to remember from here is the quote, the source. Uvshochbecha uvkumecha. While you're laying down and while you're calm, while you're getting up. That's the source. That's where the controversy began.
And as a side note, I believe you could say Shema in any position except like on your back.
Fantastic. That's extra points. That's extra. Right. All right.
Even in the Siddur, the Mishari Siddur that we made, it says it's better to be sitting down, like under saying Shema. There's actually like a footnote there. Is that from anywhere? From any?
Listen, if you're in the morning tefillah, once you get to Yotzer, it's right to sit down in that area. Okay, so then you should stay seated. But specifically, they say that if you were standing up for a certain reason, you shouldn't sit down specifically for Shema, because then you're showing that halacha is not like Bet Hillel, you're showing that halacha is like Bet Shammai. So whatever you were doing, continue. Don't make a change for Shema. But yeah, usually after we say Shtabach, everybody is sitting down after the Kaddish. Ashkenazim after the Kaddish, Sfaradim even after Vayvach David, we stay seated, because according to the world, when you get to Yotzer, that is equivalent to a world where Hashem's chair is, Kisei HaKavod. It's like Atzilut, Beriah, Yetzirah, Ve'asiyah. That's Olam HaYetzirah. It's called Olam HaYetzirah, the third world. And Olam HaYetzirah, that's why you say Yotzer Or. And in that world, it's a world where we are sitting down. The tefillin of hands, by the way, are also from that world. And that's why the custom of the Sfaradim is when they put on the tefillin shel yad, they sit down. The head, no, we stand up. But during that, but I don't want to get into that. But the bottom line, don't change from what you're doing for Shema, because you may show that the halacha is like Bet Shammai. Whatever you were doing, continue. The custom is that we sit during first Shema in the morning and at night as well, because people sit. But if you're standing, no problem at all.
Just another question is, if let's say you get to shul and you're saying Shema and they're saying Amidah, and you don't want to be the only one sitting in shul, can you say it standing up, or you should be saying it sitting down because that's what you're accustomed to doing?
You're not obligated to get up, meaning you're staying seated. You're not
obligated, but just like because everyone's standing, you don't want to be the only one sitting in shul. Can you say it standing voluntarily, or should you be sitting when you because it's usually sit?
I wouldn't make the change. I don't know if it's a dry halacha. I just the sense is that, you know, we don't want to make any change during Shema to maybe show that halacha is like this or is not like that. There is a concept, al tiyeh yoshev ben ha'omdim. Don't be sitting when everyone else is standing. But it's not right for here. It's right for other situations where, I don't know, you're with everybody, but everybody, for example, they stand for Aseret HaDibrot. No, my custom is not to stand for Aseret HaDibrot. Okay, but I'm in a Bet Knesset where everybody's standing for Aseret HaDibrot. Don't be different. Understand? That exists. But regarding Shema, because we have this issue of the showing that halacha is like Bet Din and Bet Shammai, I wouldn't make a change. Continue with what you're doing. It's fine. No one will notice that you're sitting down. Nothing happened. It's perfectly fine. All right. What part of Kriyat Shema has to have kavanah? And if I didn't, what do I have to repeat? And when I say kavanah, what do I mean? What's the minimum requirement? Steve, I think we're back to you. No? Unless Simon, how are you doing? Did I give you an answer? Yeah, you gave an answer. Okay, Simon, Steve, back to you.
This is the first part. Shema is Israel, Hashem Elena, Hashem Echad.
Very good. That's that. So wait, first of all, it was a trick question because we have to have kavanah throughout the whole Shema. That's what we have to
do. But if you get distracted during the first part, then you have to repeat it.
Right. But if we didn't have
the first part, then the rest you go wondering. Then you don't have to.
Exactly. The minimum would be the first part. And what is the minimum kavanah? When we learn Shema, we learn so many different kavanot. But there's one kavanah that if you don't have that, that's not considered like you said Shema. What is that?
Repeat the question, sorry.
What is the minimum kavanah? We say kavanah. What kavanah? When we say Shema Yisrael Hashem.
No, that Hashem is the great king of us, that we accept.
Exactly. That we accept the kingdom of Hashem. And we have 1 minute to finish the last question. So Chazak Baruch Steve, this one, anyone that wants to grab it, please go for it. If there is a bad smell in the room, this we learned recently, of feces, can I pray? From what pasuk is it learned? And if I take perfume and I spray it, would that solve the issue? Remember, we just spoke about this recently.
I know the first part is no, you shouldn't pray there if there's a bad smell.
Right. Once there's a bad smell, that's the halacha. We don't pray. Now, if there's a difference if the smell is coming within the room or if it's not coming within the room. So what would be the halacha? Let's say it's in the room right now. Can I spare it?
I think if the feces is in the room, you can't pray there because of the pasuk. Tiyeh machanecha kadosh.
Very good. Vehaya machanecha kadosh, which means wherever you pray, it has to be kadosh. It's there physically. The source of the smell is there. Perfume doesn't help. If the source of the smell is outside and is just coming in, no problem. I sprayed it. I got rid of the smell. The source is not here. Once the source is there, how far do I have to go from where the smell ends? If it's a big room, if it's a basketball court and smell is in one corner, how far away do I have to go from where the smell ends?
4 amot.
4 amot. Chazak Baruch. That's it. Not from the smell. From where the smell ends, take another 4 amot and try not to face it. You also can't face it. So turn around if it's to your side or to your back. Perfect, and you can pray. Abotai, Chazak Baruch. We crossed through this like champs. I'm proud of us. Baruch Hashem. Next week, we will be beginning very, very probably the most important topic, the halachot of Amidah, the proper way to pray Amidah. What are the questions around that? So many interesting details. I'm looking forward. Zal Hashem, see you next Wednesday. All the best. Chazak Baruch, guys. Thank you so much for learning and participating. Chazak Baruch.
Thank you. Chazak Baruch.
Bye. Chazak Baruch.
Baruch.